She laughed the day I lost everything. She thought my world had ended, that I was broken, defeated. But 2 years later, she walked into my office, desperate, unaware that the man sitting across from her, the man she abandoned, had rebuilt. Everything she thought she'd stolen. Remember the mornings filled with her laughter. Madison's laughter, soft and warm, making the world feel gentle. I thought that love like that lasted forever. But forever, I learned, has an expiration date. I was 28 when everything started to crumble. My startup Nova Freight was my pride, my heartbeat. We were growing fast, investors calling daily, and I believed I had made it. Madison seemed to believe it too, or perhaps she believed in the lifestyle it provided. Then the market turned. A major contract fell apart overnight. A data breach hit, and 2 of our biggest clients walked away. Within 3 months, I went from promising young CEO to that guy who lost it all. The day the final investor pulled out, Madison called. She asked what was happening, her voice tight, trying to hide panic. I told her honestly. She paused and whispered, "I can't do this. I'm not built for struggling." 2 days later, she packed her things. No tears, no drama, just silence and the sound of drawers closing. "I'm sorry," she said, avoiding my eyes. I can't live like this." She walked out, leaving the key on the counter we once dreamed on. That was the moment I realized losing everything didn't start with money. It started with her. Weeks blurred together. Creditors, lawyers, sleepless nights. I sold my car, furniture, and eventually the apartment. I moved into a small rented room above a bookstore. Sometimes I'd see Madison online, smiling. Champagne in hand, a new man beside her, captioned "New Beginnings." I wanted to hate her. But mostly I hated myself for believing in a love that had conditions. One rainy night while walking home after a warehouse shift, I saw my reflection in a cracked shop mirror. Eyes sunken, unshaven beard, soaked clothes. But there was something new. Determination. I whispered to myself, "You've already lost everything. Now build again, this time without illusions." The next morning I started over. Freelance logistics jobs, coding at night, designing systems for local delivery companies. Failures taught me more than success ever had. Months passed, then a year. Slowly, clients noticed. 1 became 3, then 5. By the time Novalink Solutions was born, I had something stronger, experience, humility, and a quiet hunger. Not for revenge, but to prove myself right. 2 years later, the universe decided to play its hand. I received a resume for a new assistant. Her name, Madison Hale. When she walked into my office, I almost didn't recognize her. 2 years had changed both of us. I had become sharper, calmer, authoritative. She extended her hand politely. "Good morning. I'm here for the assistant position." I shook it, keeping my voice steady. "Please have a seat, Ms. Hale." The interview began. She spoke confidently, listing past experience, her organizational skills, and her achievements. Everything sounded perfect. But I was listening for something deeper, the woman who had abandoned me, the one who had laughed when I fell. I asked questions subtly testing her integrity and honesty. She passed. Every answer was measured, logical, professional. I could sense subtle tension, a flicker of recognition. She didn't fully realize who I was yet, but something in my presence unsettled her. After an hour, the interview ended. She stood, offering her hand again, and I introduced myself, Ryan Carter. Her eyes widened for a moment, but she quickly composed herself. She had no idea that the man she once left behind was now holding the keys to her next opportunity and the lessons she never learned. I leaned back in my chair, thinking how strange life could be. She thought she was just applying for a job. She didn't see me, not yet. But in the silent spaces between questions and polite smiles, the past had already begun to speak. The woman who laughed when I fell was about to meet the man. I had become Madison had settled into her role at Novalink Solutions, but something unspoken lingered between us. The past was a shadow that neither of us could ignore, and I wanted to see who she had truly become. Not the girl who walked away 2 years ago, but the woman standing before me now, capable, self-aware, and quietly tested by life. I assigned her a high-stakes project, one that required attention to detail, integrity, and initiative. The project was crucial. A multi-million-dollar client depended on our delivery, and one wrong move could jeopardize everything. She approached it with diligence, submitting reports meticulously, flagging issues before I even noticed them. But I added a subtle twist, a hidden error. designed to see whether she would cover it up for convenience or handle it honestly. Her response was immediate and precise. She reported the error, proposed a solution, and took full responsibility for communicating with the client. There was no hesitation, no attempt to hide the problem. She had changed. She had learned the value of honesty, not just in business, but in life. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between us grew in unexpected ways. She was no longer just my former fiancé. She was my colleague, my equal in the office, and someone whose actions mattered to the company and, quietly to me, one evening, as we stayed late reviewing financial reports, Madison broke the silence. "Ryan, I need to be honest," she said, voice trembling slightly. "I've been thinking about the past, about what I did. I know I can't undo it, but I want to prove that I've changed, that I'm trustworthy." Her words weren't empty. I could see the sincerity. The test had already begun in small ways. How she handled responsibilities,
how she navigated challenges, how she treated her colleagues. Every decision she made revealed a woman growing stronger through accountability. I decided to take the test further, though subtly. I created a situation where she had to choose between a shortcut that would benefit her personally or doing the right thing for the company. The choice was hers alone. She paused, weighing the options, then made the right decision: honesty over convenience, integrity over self-interest. I watched quietly from my office, a mix of pride and relief filling me. Madison had passed the test, but it wasn't about proving her to me. It was about proving it to herself. The final test came unexpectedly. A competitor tried to lure her away with promises of higher pay and prestige. I didn't interfere. I wanted to see where her loyalty truly lay. She wrestled with the offer, tempted by ambition, but ultimately she declined. Her loyalty wasn't to me. It was to the principles she now believed in, and the company she had come to respect. That evening, I congratulated her. "You've made the right choice," I said quietly. "Not for me, not for anyone else, just for yourself." She looked at me, and for the first time, there was no trace of fear or guilt, only determination and the quiet glow of someone who had finally reconciled with her past mistakes. Weeks later, as the company celebrated a major success, Madison approached me. She smiled, a mix of pride and humility in her expression. "I think I understand now," she said, "what it truly means to grow, to earn trust, and to take responsibility for your choices." "And you've proven that," I replied. "Not just to me, but to yourself." There was a moment of quiet between us, a shared acknowledgement of everything we had endured: the love, the betrayal, the heartbreak, and the growth. The past was no longer a chain. It had become a lesson. Life doesn't give second chances often, and when it does, it tests your soul. She had the opportunity to repeat old mistakes, to choose comfort over integrity. But she chose differently. The woman who once laughed when I fell had learned the true measure of loyalty, and in doing so, she had changed not only her fate but mine as well. Months had passed since. Madison had proven her loyalty and integrity. The company was thriving, and the air between us had shifted from tension to mutual respect. We were no longer the same people we had been 2 years ago. I was stronger, wiser, and more patient. She was humbled, more self-aware, and capable of genuine reflection. It was a quiet afternoon when she approached my office, holding a folder of new proposals. "Ryan, I wanted to thank you," she said softly, "for believing in me even when I didn't deserve it." I looked at her, noticing the sincerity in her eyes. The woman who had once left me behind, who had laughed when I fell, now stood before me with a humility
and confidence that I hadn't anticipated. "You've done the work," I replied calmly. "You've earned it. That's all that matters." Her lips curved into a small smile, but it wasn't the flirtatious smile from our past. It was the smile of someone who had learned lessons the hard way and had grown stronger for it. Weeks later, the company was hosting its annual celebration. Awards were being handed out, teams congratulating each other, laughter echoing through the hall. Madison had been recognized for her contributions, and she approached me afterward. "I've changed," she said, her voice steady. "Not for anyone else, not for you, not for the company, but for myself. And I wanted you to know that." I nodded. "I know, and I'm proud of you." It was a statement of acknowledgement, not romance, but it carried a weight that neither of us could deny. We had both endured the past, faced our failures, and emerged differently. Over the following months, our professional relationship deepened, built on trust, respect, and understanding. We worked side by side, tackling challenges, celebrating victories, and sometimes sharing quiet moments that reminded us of the connection we had once shared. One evening, after finishing a major project, Madison stayed behind. The office was empty, city lights twinkling outside the windows. She approached me hesitantly. "Ryan, I don't expect forgiveness," she said, "but I hope. Maybe one day we can understand each other fully." I considered her words. Forgiveness wasn't about erasing the past. It was about accepting it, learning from it, and moving forward. "We understand each other now," I said. "And that's enough for now." Her eyes softened, and for the first time, there was no trace of fear or guilt. Just a quiet acknowledgement of what had been lost and what had been gained. The company continued to grow, and so did our understanding of each other. Madison had become a cornerstone of the team, her skills and integrity invaluable. I had found strength in my resilience, patience, and ability to rise above betrayal. Occasionally, we would share moments of quiet reflection, smiles exchanged across the office, subtle gestures that spoke louder than words. The past had shaped us, but it did not define us. One afternoon, as we walked along the balcony overlooking the city, Madison spoke softly. "I see now. You were always stronger than I thought. And you," I replied, "are braver than you believed." We didn't need to say more. The journey had brought us to this point. Not back to where we started, but forward into a space where respect, understanding, and growth existed alongside the remnants of a complicated past. The woman who once laughed when I fell had found her own redemption, and I had found mine. We had both learned the true value of character, integrity, and the quiet power of resilience. She thought she had left me broken, defeated, but life had other plans. In the quiet spaces of growth and reflection, we both learned the lessons we had missed the first time. The woman who laughed when I fell had been redeemed, and so had I. The past did not define us. It refined us. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more amazing stories with twists, drama, and redemption. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Your support keeps these stories coming.